All right, what's up? Nikki D here, coming at you from Anna's house. And we have a lineup of delicious wines here for the upcoming ladies' dinner. And just like any good YouTube influencer, I'm gonna do an unboxing of these wines. Good wines always come in a box or a fancy wrapper. Oh, champagne. White wine, red wine. Check this out. Another red. Let's focus on this one for now. So Champagne, my favorite region of France, has big producers, small producers. And a lot of times the small producers we call growers. They grow the grapes, they make the wine. They basically see the beverage from start to finish. And Paul Bara here is one of the great examples of that. Based in a village called Ambonnay, this part of Champagne is known for Pinot Noir production. And Pinot Noir can be made into a white champagne where the grapes are pressed, but the juice doesn't soak with the skins. So it creates a white wine or Blanc de Noir. This is a Rosé though, and this Rosé is 100% Pinot Noir and is a special club. Paul Bara is part of this organization called the Club Trésor, or the Special Club, where it's a number of other small producers, and they have sort of agreed that when they make a top wine from their winery, they'll use the Special Club kind of brand name to go along with it to indicate, okay, like we're all part of this club and this is our best wine. So this is a vintage Rosé 2015. It's got a really cool label. This sort of black and pink motif is nice. But the wine itself, I think, is a beautiful expression of a grower rosé with this kind of really juicy strawberry, raspberry fruit and a lot of kind of complexity and length in the wine. Of course, it's good to start the meal with, but can actually be a great wine that has enough depth and structure to go with a main course even. So something to do experiment sometime is try a rosé like this with a main course, like a juicy burger, vegetarian lasagna or something. Could be a nice pairing. These are actually all going to be French wines, but from different regions. So from the very far north of France all the way to the very far south, we have taken a little trip with this wine. We are all the way down in Provence now, and Provence is near the cities of Marseille or Nice, and is a hot climate compared to Champagne, which is very cool. And we typically see red wines from southern France, but they make great white wines too, and from grapes that may be less familiar. This is Domaine de Trevallon, you could say Trevallon, is a small producer who is very popular among French winemakers. So if you go to like a Champagne winemaker's house, they might have Domaine de Trevallon like in the fridge or in their cellar. So it's a very niche producer, quite rare. The red wines that they make are delicious and made from Cabernet Sauvignon and Syrah. The white in this instance is based on Marsanne, and it has a number of other white grapes in it, but Marsanne is the one to think about. And it's a very textural, broad, kind of waxy white grape variety. So it has a lot of complexity and kind of a more full-bodied style of white wine. So something very unique. We often see Marsanne in the Rhone Valley, in places like Hermitage and Saint-Joseph, but this is kind of further south from there, almost to the Mediterranean Sea. So one of the more unique French white wines that you'll come across. Going back up north again, not as far north as Champagne, kind of in between. This is Burgundy. And Burgundy is a region that has some of the most amazing wines in the world. And if you imagine almost like a bullseye, there are wines of Burgundy and then wines from Burgundy subregions, wines from villages within those subregions, and then even single vineyard parcels. So you can have Burgundy that gets really specific into where it comes from. And that's part of what makes a region challenging to learn if you're getting into wine, but also lends all these possibilities of things to taste. This is from a village called Pommard, and it's from a single vineyard called Pézerolles. And a long time ago, there were chickpeas planted next to this vineyard, and that's why it got that name. Is Pézerolles, I guess, relates to chickpeas. And the producer here, Domaine de is a really special producer that makes wine from areas around Meursault. Meursault is another very famous village. Pommard is just right next to Meursault, so it would be like Seattle to Bellevue, not even that far. Maybe Seattle to Shoreline, like it's just right next door. So Pommard is a style of red Burgundy made from Pinot Noir that's known for having a bit more kind of structure and depth. It's a village that the wines taste different in Pommard than like a quarter mile down the road in Volnay, which the wines are very soft and floral. So this is a wine that will be more of a dense, dark-toned black cherry type of Burgundy. So something that will be really great to probably decant and let evolve in the glass and enjoy throughout the meal. So very special wine. And then a final example here, this is a Bordeaux. Bordeaux, like Burgundy, is a region that has a lot of little small neighborhoods within it. But the main takeaway that I'll share now is that there's the left bank of Bordeaux, and that's on the west side of the region. That's known for more Cabernet Sauvignon-based wines. The right bank is kind of on the east side, and that's known for more Merlot-based wines. And that's what we have here is a Merlot-based blend with Cabernet Franc from Saint-Emilion. And the estate is called Chateau Bel-Air Monange and is owned by the Moueix family. And the Moueix family has a bunch of really fancy castles in Bordeaux. And that's what chateau means, is castle. And they have like Chateau Petrus, and in Napa Valley they have Dominus Estate. So they know what they're doing. And Chateau Bel-Air Monange is one of their Saint-Emilion properties. Pretty much always going to be a Merlot-based blend. This has a bit of age on it. It's 2013, so about 10 years of age. So that's going to lend just some maturity and a new sense of complexity to the wine through that cellaring. What's neat though is that it's not been in the United States since 2013. It was actually aged at the winery and just arrived into the United States last year. So it's a kind of a current release that was aged at the winery. And you can expect a lot of red fruit tones, being that is based on Merlot, things like dried raspberry, plum, but a lot of kind of spicy tones as well. You might get some jalapeno pepper, or even things like cedar, incense, dried rose. So it's going to be a very complex wine that will maybe be the most full-bodied wine of the lineup, and again, something that could be interesting to decant and watch evolve throughout the evening. So a fun lineup of wines for you here.